Welcome to the Build Your Brand Strategy course. Let's get started. So first I'll tell you a little bit about me and why I am delivering this work to you. I'm a senior strategist consultant. I specialize in brand storytelling and marketing strategy, and specifically uncovering the most important messages about a brand to help a brand connect with its customers, its ideal customers. And that's why we're here to do this program together. I have 20 years experience. I've worked across Europe and North America, in Ireland and Canada, and across American markets as well. And I have a master's in marketing practice, 20 years of pure marketing experience. I've been building brand stories for a long time now. I'm the founder of I Like Storytelling, which is a brand and marketing consulting practice, and also the Mindful Marketing Retreats, which are marketing retreats that I design for clients and teams, where we go away on retreat and we build marketing strategies together. I have worked with many types of brands, very large international brands and local brands, and everything from products to experiences to services. You name it, I've covered most industries at this point. At I Like Storytelling, we uncover brand stories that grow businesses. Everything we do is to help you grow your business. And by doing this course, you're taking a big step in getting some clarity around your messaging so that you can attract your ideal customers, which will help you grow your business. So I'm going to give you a little introduction and an overview of the contents. We're going to talk a little bit about words. I like to decipher the marketing jargon right off the bat so that we're all on the same page about what things mean. I'm going to talk a little bit about why brand messaging is important and what a brand strategy is. I'm going to walk you through a beautiful example of a business to a B2B service brand strategy that I created. And I'll show you the process to create a brand strategy that you're going to do as well. And then we're going to wrap up with a lovely little exercise, which is uncovering the purpose of your brand, the why your brand exists and what it's here to deliver. Okay, so let's talk words. So when I say brand, what I mean is your offering. And that could be a product, a service, an experience. It could be a cause-related initiative. It could be many things, but it's what you offer. So when I say brand, you insert what works for you. When I say brand strategy, what I'm talking about is a messaging strategy. And it means the brand promise, which is a unique, compelling promise about the unique value that you offer and 4 reasons to believe. And we're going to get into a lot of that later on. Now, sometimes you're going to hear me say brand story because colloquially I call the brand strategy a brand story because I believe that the messaging all equals a story. So if you hear brand story, it is really brand strategy that I'm talking about. I'll say brand promise and brand message. They're kind of interchangeable. The goal here is to create a brand promise, but sometimes when you go through this process, you might end up with something that sounds less like a promise and more like a statement of value or more like a purpose statement, and that's okay. Ultimately, it's the key brand message that we're looking for, that most important message that you should share. Most of the time it's a promise, but it can look a little bit different, so there's a little bit of flexibility there. Now, here's the interesting one. When I say customer, traditionally we do think customers are the person who buys your product, but in many cases, the person who buys your product may not be the user. Sometimes a parent buys a product for their child and their child is the user, but actually the child is also a customer. So, there's many instances where your buyer isn't your customer, but customers also can be different than a buyer. They could be a partner, they could be a donor, they could be a grant funder, they could be the government. So they may not look like a traditional consumer customer or commercial customer. So when I say customer, insert whoever your customer is. So I'm going to walk you through an overview of what a brand strategy is and how to create one. So first I'm going to start with why brand messaging is so important. This is why we're here. I'm going to talk to you about why it's so important because it can solve a lot of problems with marketing. If you're having difficulty with marketing and you're finding some of your marketing isn't working, often it can be the brand message that actually isn't connecting. So Effective marketing is the right message to the right people in the right place and at the right time. And then, boom, a connection should happen. So that's what effective marketing looks like. And when you build a marketing plan, you have to figure out the messaging, you have to figure out who your audience is for the right people, you have to figure out how to find them, those are the places, and you have to figure out when the best time is to connect with them. So they're all the things that you need to consider for effective marketing. But if your message isn't right, or isn't the best message that you can put forward, your marketing doesn't work. It doesn't matter if you reach the right people in the right place at the right time. If you don't say the right thing, the message doesn't connect. So your brand messaging is fundamental to the success of your marketing. So taking this time now to actually work on your brand messaging is a real investment in your business and in your marketing. Okay, so what is a brand strategy? So a brand strategy is made up of 3 components. The first one is brand positioning, and that's where to play and who to compete against. And when we go through the process, we're going to see that that's looking for a unique opportunity in the marketplace where you can be different from your competitors. So that's brand positioning. That's our marketing jargon, but I'm going to be talking about unique opportunities in the marketplace. The second part is a brand promise, which is a simple articulation of the most compelling and unique value that your brand offers its customers. It encapsulates why your customers should care, and it is an expression of your brand positioning. But you've got to figure out what your brand positioning is first so that you can create a brand promise. And then finally, your reasons to believe that your brand can deliver on its promise. We call those the RTBs, and they're the marketing messages. So you're going to have at the end of this 5 messages, a brand promise, and 4 reasons to believe that you can use in all your marketing. So that summarizes what a brand strategy is. So we're going to move into a brand promise, because the brand promise is the heart of the brand strategy. And it's the thing that we come out with at the end. That's the most important message. So we're going to talk a lot about creating brand promises, and we're going to walk through a process for that. Okay, so how to create a brand promise. You've got to find a sweet spot for your messaging, which is one thing that the customer really needs and wants, one thing that's completely unique in the marketplace, and one thing that your brand can deliver in spades. Now, we've got to do a lot of research around all the things your customer needs and wants, all the possible unique opportunities in the marketplace, and all the things your brand delivers to find that sweet spot combination of the 3. But this is ultimately what we look for. So I'll show you an example of how I created one for OK Dave. So they are a business-to-business service. They're a creative agency. They're a design agency. So OK Dave are a design studio, and they are led by Andrea and Will. And they're just a wonderful duo. Something that's really important to them is that they both have different cultural heritages. So Andrea is Venezuelan and Will is Chinese Canadian, and they loved the fact that they brought together 2 different cultures and 2 different sets of design skills with different perspectives and experience, because together they can make things that are really unique. So what they needed after 5 years in business was they needed a brand strategy, because they needed more clarity on where they wanted to put their stake in the sand in the market, where they wanted to say they were, what they wanted to say their unique value was. So again, just a reminder, what we're looking for is something the customer needs and wants, something the brand can deliver well, something that's unique in the marketplace, and create a brand message based on that. So after a lot of research, all of the things that the customer needs and wants, and the market and the brand, these are the distilled insights. Now, there were more, but I've narrowed them down to these. So on the customer side, the customers really loved that they delivered work that was outside the expected. They loved that they took the design a step further. They really appreciated that they thought really differently than other creatives that they'd worked with. They loved that the design that OK Dave did always got complimented. And they really appreciated that OK Dave cared about the craft of brand creation, and they cared about the people. Over on the top right in the market, the opportunities, the unique opportunities that I found in the marketplace were the effect a brand has. So think about like when you see a beautiful brand, you see a beautiful logo, you see a beautiful piece of marketing, and you get goosebumps. Like that's an effect, you know. Another opportunity was conceptual brand messaging. So more around a concept versus around what you do. Another opportunity was a creative strategy focused brand agency. And then down on the brand, all the things that they delivered were, they delivered well crafted, well thought out, high quality design. They had a deep passion for their craft. They proactively combined perspectives, skills, and experiences. And they had a multicultural team, and they had aspirations to continue doing that moving forward. And on the left-hand side there, their brand personality was vibrant, colourful, bold, friendly, and approachable. And Will and Andrea had over a decade of big agency experience each. So that was really important. It proved that they could deliver. So these were all of the important insights that we walked into a workshop with, where we together created the brand promise. And you will do this yourself later in the course. So we narrowed it down to a winning combination. So there was a few different combinations, and this was the winning one. So on the customer side, what the customer really wants or needs is they want work to be delivered that's outside the expected. They want their design partners to be thinking differently. The unique opportunity in the marketplace was the effect a brand has. And then what the brand delivered that was really important and unique was they proactively combined cultures, perspectives, skills, and experiences. So those were the winning insights combination. And now I'm going to share their brand promise with you. Unexpected brands that pull you in. So OK Dave promises that they'll deliver unexpected brands that pull you in. And there are reasons to believe that they can deliver this. And it's important to note the reasons to believe are functional and tangible, and also emotional and intangible. And we'll get a lot more into that later on. But the reasons to believe that they can deliver unexpected brands that pull you in is they have a unique team mix. So they're always creating unexpected brands because they have different cultures, perspectives, and skills. They are brand experts. So they're always going to deliver something super high quality. They have a strategy and craft, so they're always going to make sure that the brand is on strategy, which means it's going to work. It's going to pull you in if it's on strategy. And then on the emotional side, the reasons to believe are they desire to inspire. Like everything they do is to inspire, and they drive to be different. So they're always driving to create those unexpected brands. So these 5 messages, or 6 messages in their case, became their messaging cheat sheet. So they've got their brand promise and their 5 reasons to believe, and those messages can be used across all marketing, and you'll have one of these at the end of this course. Now, if that brand example doesn't kind of resonate, or you would like to see some other examples, or maybe you're in a different type of business and you'd like to see something that relates a little bit more to your business, you'll find some other examples of brand strategies in this lesson. So you can have a look at a business to consumer product, and you can have a look at a not-for-profit service. So that kind of covers a bit of a spectrum of different examples. So how you're going to create your brand strategy with this course. So this course is in 3 modules. The first module is Discover, the second is Create, and the third one is Share. And the Discover module is your research module, and I will let you know that this is where the most amount of work happens. So don't worry if you're in it and you're halfway through and you're like, oh my gosh, this is taking ages. This is where a lot of the legwork happens. The creation stages is a lot quicker. So in the discovery phase, you're going to conduct research so that you can uncover all of those relevant insights to build your brand strategy. So you're going to research the customer and what they need and want. You're going to look at the market and do a competitor audit to identify opportunities in the marketplace. And you're going to dig deep and outline all of the ways that your brand delivers value. Then in module 2, the creation module, you're going to build your brand promise. You're going to take many of those insights and you're going to create some combinations, and then you'll have some winning combinations, and you'll draft many brand promises, and you'll narrow it down to the best one. And when you have your best one, you're going to craft your reasons to believe that your brand can deliver on its promise. And then you're going to refine the language. It's a process, it's a creative process. So you're going to tighten up the language, do some different versions of the messages to see if different words or different sentiments help, but the messaging will stay the same. And then finally, you're going to share. You're going to put your brand strategy into action. So you can share it with me. I always love to see the outputs of these courses, but you can also share it with your customers, your colleagues. There'll be a little action plan where you can put your brand strategy into action, and I'll show you where you can put your brand promise right away, and then some other examples of how to put it into action later that might take a little bit more time. Okay, but first, before we start anything, we've got to come back to the why. Why your brand exists, why it's here, what its purpose is. So most companies talk about how they do what they do, or they talk about what they do. But what people buy is why you do what you do. So you've got to talk to the benefit that the customer receives from you. Now, Simon Sinek wrote this wonderful book many years ago called Start With Why. It's fabulous. If you have time, I recommend you listen to it. If not, though, I have 2 videos here, one short one, which is a TED Talk that's been summarized to 2 minutes, and then a fuller one that's about 18 minutes. Both of them will help. They will give you a steer on some wonderful examples of how to speak to your why. And what I would love you to do is uncover the why for you. So your first exercise is to spend a little time thinking about your brand's why. So just jot down some notes around why it exists, why it was created, how it's supposed to help customers, what problem was it designed to solve for customers, how can it affect a customer, and anything else that might relate to why it exists. And I would then take some of those notes and draft a few statements around why, and just 1 or 2 line statements around why the brand exists, and then narrow it down to your favorite one and write it in a way that you like, that feels good to you. Now, I'd love it to be more emotion based. So when you think about a brand's why and the driver behind why it exists, it's always based on emotion versus what the product or service or experience does or what you get. It's normally based on emotion. So it's that why. It's what the brand is trying to achieve. And then take that statement and put it somewhere near you when you're doing this course. You might put it on your desk somewhere, you might put it on a wall near your desk, or you might put it on your computer, or you might keep it in your notebook, just somewhere that you can use it as a touchstone so you can look back at it at different points and go, oh, is this other messaging I'm creating supporting this why? Because the why should really drive everything in your brand strategy. Okay, that's your first exercise, and this is a wrap. You have completed your overview, you have your exercise. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.